From the heart of Africa to the world, this
is African Focus Reports, bringing you news and stories the way you like it.
Across Africa, the line between power and people keeps shifting, sometimes through the ballot, sometimes through the barrel. In Madagascar, that line has just been crossed. A government brought down, a president in flight, and a military that says it's acting for the people. But history teaches one truth. When soldiers take charge, freedom always holds its breath. This report explores how a youth-led uprising shook Madagascar's foundations and why this moment could redefine Africa's struggle for accountability. You're watching African Focus Reports, clear, independent, and unafraid to tell Africa's truth. Don't move, because in the next few minutes, we'll reveal how this movement began, how it spiraled into a coup, and what lessons it carries for the rest of the continent. And shortly, our African analyst will join with exclusive insights on what this takeover really means for Africa's democracy. To help unpack the deeper meaning behind Madagascar's military transition, we're joined by our African analyst, a voice committed to making sense of Africa's changing political tides.
This is not just about power, it is about pressure. A generation pushed to the edge by corruption, poverty, and broken promises finally decided to stand up. What began as a protest for dignity turned into a demand for change.
How it began. It started with anger over daily life, water shortages, electricity blackouts, and soaring prices. Students and young professionals filled the streets of Antananarivo. They weren't organized by any political party. They were united by frustration. Police responded with force. That violence became the spark. When members of Madagascar's elite CAPSAT military unit refused to shoot unarmed civilians, the balance of power shifted. Within days, soldiers joined demonstrators, demanding the president's resignation. Lawmakers followed public pressure and impeached the president for abuse of office. He fled, leaving the military to fill the vacuum. The takeover. Colonel Michael Randrianarina appeared on national television, announcing that the armed forces had taken responsibility to protect the nation and ensure stability. State institutions were suspended. A transitional council was promised, a familiar script in Africa's recent history. The streets erupted in celebration and in uncertainty. Some called it liberation. Others called it the beginning of another long night for democracy.
Every military takeover comes dressed in the language of hope. But hope without structure becomes chaos. What matters now is whether this movement stays true to its people or becomes another story of power replacing power.
Reaction and consequences. Across Africa, reactions are divided. Some leaders express concern over constitutional order, while others quietly watch, aware of their own fragile systems. Civil society in Madagascar calls for transparency and a quick return to civilian rule. International observers warn of sanctions if the transition stalls. For ordinary Malagasy citizens, the priority remains basic survival, food, water, stability. They have little interest in speeches about democracy. They want results they can feel.
The youth who marched for justice may not trust any uniform, not political, not military. Their victory will only be real when schools reopen, lights stay on, and leaders start serving instead of running.
A lesson for Africa. From Niamey to Antananarivo, the story feels familiar. Broken trust, angry streets, and armies stepping in as referees. But Africa's young population is rewriting the rules. They demand accountability, not authority. They seek leadership, not saviors. Madagascar's experience will test whether African nations can transform crisis into renewal or repeat the cycle of hope and disappointment.
Power can change hands overnight, but progress takes work. The world is watching, yet it is Africa itself that will decide what kind of future it wants.
Madagascar stands at a crossroads between reform and relapse, between people's power and the power of arms. The coming months will reveal whether this new chapter leads to freedom or another fragile peace.
I am the African analyst. She is nice. Thank you for staying with us. Remember, Africa's story is still being written, and every voice matters. Subscribe to African Focus Reports. Smash that like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and stay informed. Because awareness is our greatest power.
This is African Focus Reports.
News the way you like it.